It's a story about workers, about family. It's just a story about life, about community, stepping up to help each other. It's not always easy, and nobody has all the answers, but this is a story about how one small town is about to make it work.
I was let go and I was so mad because here I had my degree. I have such a strong work ethic that I wanted to work and provide for my baby girl. At that time I only had one baby. And I was let go. Like, I wanted to work and I wanted to provide, but I couldn't because we didn't have any reliable childcare.
Besito. Que no. Besito.
None of the centers were taking in new children. I didn't have anybody that would be able to take care of my baby girl that was family related. So because I didn't have any reliable childcare, I ended up being let go.
That was Marilyn. Marilyn is a hardworking mom from Eden who lost her job because she didn't have reliable childcare.
In Rockingham County, we have had about 4 child care facilities to close where parents have to choose and daycare providers have to choose whether they're going to stay open or not. Working for the county, I have seen both sides of the spectrum. I didn't realize how hard it was for providers to pay their bills providing child care for children.
There's going to be a wave of resignations or a great resignation.
It's what's being called the Great Resignation.
The phenomenon known as the Great Resignation.
The Great Resignation, otherwise known as the Big Quit.
The mass exodus comes as many companies are trying to get employees back into the office.
Finger pointing and calling people lazy, but what's really going on? Why don't people want to work? Pew asked people this same question, and one answer raised a lot of eyebrows, including my own. 48% of people that left the workforce said their reason, childcare. Could childcare really be that big of a deal in the labor market?
Lawmakers are calling it human infrastructure, a backbone of our economy, and it's an industry in growing crisis.
The backbone to our workforce, childcare.
Childcare centers trying to cope with staff shortages.
Parents who want to go back to work are faced with a new problem.
The childcare crisis.
More than 2 million women have left the workforce.
The single biggest factor, low pay for childcare workers.
I feel what comes after.
There's like regular track and field, and the person in the first lane is taking off. It's the person in the second lane, they took off. And then the person in the third lane is me, but I've got my baby in my arms. I can't go until somebody can watch my baby for me, and that's what it feels like. There's a lot of families that can prosper and get ahead, and we want to be one of those families, but we can't. We can't take off. It's a challenge that I'm looking forward to, but I'm afraid of. I mean, when it comes to my girls, there's nothing I wouldn't do for them. There's nothing I wouldn't do for them. I need to know that my daughters are safe. I need to know that they're in a place where they're being cared for by people who care for them. And right now, the childcare crisis it's got me with a lot of doubts if a place like that even exists. And if it is, I guarantee you it's got a wait list out the door. So, suffice it to say right now, since we're stuck, we don't really know which way to go. We know that the issue is big. We know that it's not just our local place. We know that everyone's struggling with this, but is anybody doing anything about it?
So is this a thing here in Rockingham County? Could childcare be playing that meaningful of a role in the labor shortage? Because I wouldn't have guessed it. And I don't think a lot of people are connecting the two. Spoiler alert, it is real. Industry leaders are talking about it at a high level, but not everybody is aware.
We want to ask folks that are most impacted by this, the leaders who are making decisions, are they even aware of the crisis, and what is their level of responsibility, or what are they willing to do to support the community with this really great need?
We want to raise awareness about what is happening with the childcare crisis and let our government officials know what's going on.
To be fair, we did pull up without an appointment. You have not heard of it being an issue from an HR director's perspective. You know what I mean? So that's interesting to hear as well. The HR director had not heard of it.
And one of the things we want to do is highlight how Rockingham is banding together to do this as an innovative practice. You know, we are trying to think outside the box. We have some really, really good folks galvanized and excited about tackling this issue. And so we want to highlight how Rockingham is coming together to address this and to support childcare centers like Wesleyan. I don't know why I feel icky after that. I don't know what insecurity that brought up for me, but you felt that, right? It's not just me being sensitive.
Awkward. So she wasn't hip to the issue. But just a few short months ago, I wasn't either. And we were happy to share this information with her. Next, we met up with the local Partnership for Children and headed to the state capitol.
I'm April Cox, the Executive Director with the Rockingham County Partnership for Children. This was a day of activism, a day where early educators from across the state were traveling to Raleigh to make sure that their voices were heard.
We are advocating today, we are not lobbying, so we are educating and we just won't direct any kind of guidance towards a certain piece of legislation. But yes, use your voices. We're going to cheer on our folks from Rockingham County. We have another whole crew meeting us there, so it's about 50 or so folks from Rockingham County that's showing up today. So
you need to stand up. You don't need to sit. Is it over a free lunch sticker? I don't think so.
Rockingham County showed up in a big way, and Tara, a local child care center director, always brings a lot of energy.
You need to stand up and you need to yell, because I hate the word daycare. I don't care for days. I care for children. Howdy, howdy, ho. Howdy, 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 ho. These old wages have to go. These old wages have to go. This is my time.
So we headed over to the office of our elected state representative, Reese Pirtle, to make sure that he was aware of the issue and to ask, what role does state government have to play in the solution of this crisis?
We're going to get
I'm a little muscle. I'm just
Child care is expensive. I have a daughter. She's in college. That's a little bit more expensive than child care, but they're both very expensive.
What role do you think government has to play in this crisis?
Well, I think there's, obviously there's going to be a lot of discussions on that. When you have individuals that are underemployed, there's subsidies. There's going to be a need because of the market is what the market is, and the cost for child care is not really in our control. But the fact of the matter is, it's a necessity. It's a quality of life issue. It's an investment in our future.
On average, North Carolina moms and dads are spending $9,200 on the cost of daycare. Meantime, the cost of tuition at one of North Carolina's public universities is $7,200, and regulators say that's a problem.
We are gathered here today for one purpose: change. Educators love their career.
Yes.
They love their children.
Yes, we do.
However, they are not paid their worth.
And I chose to invest my entire life into this field, and you are not going to see us step back or be quiet behind our closed doors anymore.
Child of God, we have a purpose. You were born and bred for a purpose. So one more time, we want more. We want more. We want more. We want more.
You could feel the energy.
But I'm saying every little rule that you had in years past got to go. It got to go, and it got to go right now. So we're going to be Joshua, and we're going to march around this place, and we're going to watch the old fall, and the new is going to rise. United for change. 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 United for change.
Now that you say you see us, we want to hear it. And paying these teachers low income is not going to cut it, because then they take that passion and then they have to say, you know what, my passion's here, but the money's not.
So average pay for an early childhood teacher in our county is around $12 an hour. Meanwhile, they're given the very serious job of taking care of our kids at a high level. We expect them to be trained and have credentials to be professional, to provide a safe environment and teach them good habits. But we pay them like they're just a babysitter.
Look around where you are. See my love shine like the stars. Take a breath where you stand.
Infant toddler classrooms are closing almost by the week within our county. It's an unfortunate reality, also known as the child care crisis. Early childhood teachers do not receive benefits like that of other industries. They deserve to be paid a livable wage as well as have work-life balance, just like any other employee. We as founders understand that we are paying people in our county more to care for our hamburgers than we are for caring for our own children. That's a problem.
10 million suns across the sky won't outshine my love for you.
What drives us in keeping our infant and toddler classrooms open is our mission. We want to be community focused, and we want to be there to strengthen the families within our community. We think it's important to invest in those early years because ultimately it's those early years that's going to pave the way for future generations. Nearly 90 to 95% of your operating costs goes strictly towards payroll. The state regulates that we maintain a certain number of teachers to a certain number of children, depending on the age of the child. One teacher could be responsible for 5 infants. One teacher could be responsible for 6 one-year-olds. One teacher could be responsible for 9 two-year-olds, or one teacher could be responsible for 10 3 through 5-year-olds. Therefore, the amount of income that would come in would be directly related to whatever the age of the child is and the ratio within that classroom. Profits would typically be generated in classrooms with children aged 3 through 5 years old because those classrooms can legally hold more children than that of an infant classroom. How we are able to make this model work is we're using funds from other classrooms to be able to fund our infant and toddler classrooms within Locomotion.
We were foster parents who needed childcare. Casey's wife and himself had to move to Greensboro to find childcare, and I had to quit my job to take care of my children. We wanted to continue fostering but could not due to not being able to find childcare for those children.
So how we maintain our community-focused model within our child care center is reserving emergency slots specifically for children coming into foster care. Therefore, foster parents would not have to say no to accepting children due to finding adequate child care. Ultimately, we know that families need child care services. Our wait lists are hundreds of children long. It's probably going to be impossible for children to even receive services at any of our centers. If we're trying to push economic development within our county, it starts with our babies having a safe and reliable place for them to go.
More than 150,000 kids in North Carolina are set to lose childcare if federal stabilization grants expire.
Access to child care centers is just a difficult thing, and we hope that that's going to be resolved and that our families can just be able to move forward in some way with this.
So the first question they ask is, well, how long is the wait list? Is it like a few weeks? Is it a month? And I'm like, well, no, it's actually like a year out. And a lot of parents are like having to pull some of the kids out because they're on a voucher, but they can't afford the parent fee, which I totally understand. I have some parents that's like, you know, I might as well just stay at home until they go into kindergarten because it's such a pull for me to, you know, by the time I'm paying bills and rent, I can't afford daycare too.
Traditionally, you know, government and business have not always felt that they need to be at the table, but early childhood education and access to early childhood education is a community issue, and it's an economic development issue.
We also wanted to bring local industry leaders to the conversation because childcare is such an important piece of the labor force.
Hey, this is April Cox. We talked last week. Hey, this is April Cox, the director with the Hey, this is April. Just following up again. Just wanted to follow up on the information. Okay, should I email you more information? Voicemail. Just wanted to follow up again on the information that we emailed over to you.
It was important to talk to industry leaders to hear their experiences firsthand, but it proved very difficult to get them on camera.
Okay, thanks for your time. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.
While we may not have landed an interview with industry leaders, some did provide feedback from a survey through our friends at Economic Development. One Rockingham County employer with over 700 employees shared with us that they had more than one occasion when an employee had spoken to them about quitting work to stay at home with their children due to the cost of childcare. Another Rockingham County business with over 400 employees mentioned the challenges of finding second and third shift childcare.
We went to Raleigh to engage with our state officials, but we also wanted to engage with our local Board of Commissioners. So we signed up for a presentation at the next commissioners meeting to make sure that all of our local reps knew about the issue. We put a call out to families and educators in the community to encourage them to attend to have their voices heard.
Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, Commissioners. I am here tonight as a member of the Kids Ready Coalition through the Partnership for Children.
The county commissioners are our local elected officials. They live around here. They manage the county budget, local laws, and set county policies.
Zalia, my 1-year-old's classroom, was closed for a year. Although the classroom reopened, it's not reliable because there are days they are forced to close because there just aren't enough teachers.
North Carolina has a quote-unquote severe worker shortage.
I am a county employee, but I am here tonight volunteering my time to speak with you. So don't worry, I'm not on the clock. Now we are expecting a baby, and we find ourselves in the middle of the childcare crisis. So now I have this new fear that this could be what ends my career.
Without childcare, our county will be lacking the infrastructure necessary for these businesses to find employees.
Many teachers have left the industry to pursue higher wage positions like those of the fast food industry.
Investing in early childhood education can help every member of our community.
So even our military leaders are making early childhood a priority. They say it's a matter of our national security. Law enforcement officials, they're speaking up about early childhood issues. They're calling on lawmakers to support high-quality early education programs as a critical strategy to reduce crime. Business leaders and economists are also advocating for greater early childhood investments. It's so important that the U.S. Chamber of Commerce says that it impacts our economic prosperity and we want greater investments in early childhood. The average cost of care in North Carolina for center-based childcare was $9,916. So that's why in North Carolina it's getting to be more expensive to send a kid to childcare than it is to college. We ended our presentation with the commissioners by sharing ways that they can support the mission. They can provide incentives to support existing childcare programs. They can provide startup grants for new childcare businesses, or support for our Rockingham County Early Childhood Academy. They could add a recurring budget line item for early education. Or a fifth way is just general support or asking other counties what they're doing to support this issue.
So I don't know if they understood the issue. I did email them and I didn't hear a follow-up, but I don't know. I wish one of our commissioners would say, hey, this is what I thought about the presentation.
Okay, so here's what we learned. Most people have no idea that the childcare crisis is happening. It costs too much to keep a center open, so a lot of them are shutting down. We can't pay more than we already pay. We can't afford it. And they can't hire people and pay them a fair wage with the system that's in place. So it's broken on both sides. We need the whole village. Industry leaders, government officials, and parents, let's pool our resources. Let's get together, volunteer hours. Who has ideas? Who's willing to put some time and effort into resolving this? We're gonna have to collaborate. That's our last hope, basically.
There are programs in place and people working to fix it. And we learn more about that. But first, from the perspective of registered nurses, one other concern is the quality of care.
We have to look at it as it's not just babysitting. We're neglecting a huge piece of that, which is that educational piece that they need to have to help support our children.
People do not realize the responsibility that comes with taking care of other people's children. As a nurse, I try to relate to them as much as I can because that is a lot of pressure, and I feel it from the healthcare side. In my situation, more often than not, I have a doctor telling me how to take care of these kids, but they do not.
It's almost like a domino effect. It's like a chain reaction. You know, you have the crisis with the pay. You have the crisis with being qualified. I think parents, I know there are several that just say they can't afford it, so they just stay home and remain out of the workforce. But then there are those of us that we can't do that, and so we have to rely on someone else to provide that daytime care for our children. Sometimes the teachers feel not just unqualified, but unsupported in some areas, and knowledge is power, so they feel like they don't have any, they're not empowered.
The people who are sticking around are sometimes dangerous, to be honest. Our role is health and safety, and I apply a lot to my own children because I'm a mom, and I have to put my children in daycare. And I don't want people who aren't qualified taking care of them. It creates an unsafe environment. I don't know how to fix it, to be honest. I don't know. It's a large problem, and it really is.
Here's the problem. Parents can't afford to use it, businesses can't afford to do it, and teachers can't afford to work in it.
I think about low-pay staff in childcare. I think about struggles in trying to find quality teachers in those classrooms. I think about the social emotional impact that COVID has caused for our child care community. And then we've got to find ways to really figure this thing out.
They are helping to raise our children. They are a piece of the puzzle. They are part of the village that's helping with our children. And if they're not available, what are the parents supposed to do? There's no daycare provider, they can't work.
Okay, we get it. Thank you, documentary, for making us sad. But what can we actually do about it? I'm glad you asked, and we'll get there shortly. Sometimes it can get depressing, but there is always hope. So we tried again, pulling up unannounced to another local government office, this time to the county's Economic Development Center, because we figured if anybody knew about this, it would be them.
So I'm Lee Cockrum. I'm the Director of Economic Development for Rockingham County, and I work to recruit new industry to that area, to help existing industries expand, and to help them solve a variety of problems that they may be having at any given time.
When I say childcare crisis, can you tell me a little bit about what bubbles up for you, maybe from lived experience or from your professional experience? What is this childcare crisis?
No, absolutely. I mean, and to your point, it is a very real problem and crisis, not only in Rockingham County, but nationwide. There's a lack of quality childcare facilities throughout the county. And then there's also the affordability piece, so those are two of the largest, pieces to the puzzle in terms of the crisis and how maybe we can all work together to solve them is, we need more and we need to figure out how to keep these affordable for the employees that we desperately need and our industries desperately need to make them be successful. We are very much a manufacturing community here in Rockingham County who operate on 3 shifts. So there's not, third shift, second shift daycare for that single parent or for both of the parents who happen to be working, night shifts. So that's a big issue as well that keeps and prevents, folks from being in the workforce productively. During the COVID moments is really when this became exacerbated, when you realize all of the employees who have relied in the past when school is closed for weather or delay, there's been somewhere to drop your kids off so that you can go to work. That all ended.
And so when you are working with industry leaders, what are they saying about it if they do bring things up to you like, are there strategies? Are there things out there that can support us as industry leaders?
actual active participation in the labor force shrunk dramatically. And so you're still seeing, though, that labor force is not back to pre-pandemic levels. And there are a variety of reasons that we can talk about that, but one of the large ones that we all recognize is because also during COVID, a lot of the daycare centers closed. So, and they have not come back. So there's still not a place for these very productive, smart, intelligent people to be able to get back into the workforce because they don't have anywhere for their kids to go.
So what are we supposed to do? We have to find a solution to this issue for kids, for families, for industries. We have to fix this.
The childcare issue in 3 words: availability, affordability, and quality. Availability. That is to say, there are not many childcare options available. Affordability, which means it's expensive for most people. And quality, which is to say, we need teachers to be trained. Solution 1, Early Childhood Academy.
It is a 2-week intensive academy where an individual will acquire all their North Carolina certifications so that they can right away work at a childcare center. And the goal for this was for childcare centers to continue to keep their doors open, but also hire someone who is ready and is qualified for the job.
Rockingham Community College collaborated with us to design an 8-week online course for new early childhood professionals as a result of conversations about the workforce crisis. And they even provided scholarships for our most recent academy graduates.
Solution 2, Childcare Wages.
The Childcare Wages program is designed to increase the salaries of our early childhood educators who have historically been underpaid.
Solution 3, Childcare Subsidy.
Childcare Subsidy is a program that helps assist families with the cost of childcare.
They provide subsidy for our parents that's trying to go back to school so they don't have to pay the full amount for childcare. And we're so grateful to Rockingham County Partnership for Children that they provide funds for the county to disperse to parents.
And Solution 4, Kids Ready. This is an X Factor program that addresses all 3 issues.
It takes a village to raise a child, and that means a community effort. And that's one of the reasons why we started the Kids Ready Rockingham Coalition.
Kids Ready Rockingham, at its inception, came about to really center this idea of resilience and ensuring that our Rockingham community has everything that it needs in order to thrive and be successful.
There's a lot of people who think just like us, who say, this issue needs to get resolved, but nobody's gonna do it for us. So guess what? We have industry leaders coming in. We've got some people connected to government. We've got small business owners, pastors, parents. We have nonprofit organizations. A lot of people who have the same goals actually got together and said, let's figure out how to fix this. It's like an answered prayer.
We meet several times a month. We do planning, research, and we take action. And our plan is pretty comprehensive, and we're really proud of it.
Right now, our Kids Ready group that is comprised of cross-sector individuals from health and human services to the local community college, to teachers and families within Rockingham County to band together to make systems better for the families and the children that live here.
We're not even scratching the surface yet, but already we're making decisions on, well, who should we talk to? Who should we bring to these meetings? How can we get awareness up? And not just awareness, how do we start the work? This, what we're doing now, is part of that. And it finally feels like, okay, we're getting some traction here. And it's an uphill battle, but we're battling. We're not just watching it happen to us anymore. We're doing something about it.
The partnership is doing something about it. They've been working for over 25 years to help young children and families. They were originally founded by Jewel and Trish Gwynn from Reedsville. and the partnership still serves in their memory.
Anybody that knew Trish knew that she was vibrant, and one of the things I actually dressed in thinking of her today. Bright colors were her thing. This scarf actually was a gift from her and Jewel. One of the things I remember about Trish is having a board retreat after we had formed the Partnership for Children, and one of the things that the facilitator asked us to do was to identify ourselves as with an animal. And she identified as a peacock.
A peacock. Oh, yep, I can see that. Yes, she's flamboyant, yes.
She was also county commissioner. She was also chair of the county commissioners, which is, well, she's the only one. She helped desegregate this community. It's a story that's not well known.
They were very strong civil rights activists in the 60s, and we were threatened a lot as children, being kidnapped and things, and a cross was going to be burned in our front yard.
We can't mention the Rockingham County Partnership for Children without recognizing the Gwynn family. Trish and Jewel Gwynn were instrumental in the establishment of the Partnership for Children. They were huge community advocates and a huge advocate for early childhood education.
She was really quite a card. Anybody who knew her, she had a wonderful sense of humor.
They felt that funding sometimes with states is a little iffy, and they wanted to make sure that all those programs would continue, and that was why they put out the challenge and started the foundation, just to get money that would reinvest itself and invest in the community.
So a county that was very divided at one time, bringing those agencies together that served everyone in Rockingham County. So it would get heated, but at the end of the day, we knew that our focus was on helping children, helping families, and that's where we kept our goal.
They were really excited when they heard that the state was going to have several counties start out with Smart Start. And so they campaigned to get Rockingham as one of the counties, and they got it.
There are still programs that we started back 25 years ago that are still going on now, and so that's exciting to see and to watch.
One of the pieces of her legacy is the Gwynn Early Childhood Scholarship that was started from an investment from the Gwynn family for the Early Childhood Endowment.
There are scholarships out there available, and we would like people to know that and get interested in the early childhood development.
We can now award scholarships throughout the county to early educators working in the field and pursuing their degree.
The scholarship has helped me out a lot with furthering my education to pursue my associates, and the next step is to pursue my bachelor's degree. So I was very honored and thankful that I was able to receive the scholarship.
It means something special to me because when I applied, I chose my story of why I should receive the scholarship. I didn't think that I would be able to get it, but once I got it, it made me feel proud of myself and that I could do anything.
Keep pushing. Sometimes school and work and just home life is hard in itself, but just remember that you can do it.
It takes a village to raise a child.
It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a child, and I am a part of that village.
I am part of that village.
And I am a part of that village.
And I am part of that village.
It takes a village to raise a child. I am a part of that village.
Se necesita una villa para criar a un niño y yo soy parte de esa villa.
The Kids Ready Rockingham Coalition is a program that inspired the creation of this film as a creative way to plant seeds and expand the reach of discussion. Ultimately, the point was to raise awareness about the issue And in many ways, we were very successful. The childcare crisis made the news. The childcare crisis made the front page. And more people than ever are talking about it. So what's next for the Kids Ready group? There is business and industry roundtable discussion, support for the childcare workforce, and so much more. Check them out online. And if you don't have time, but you do have money, please consider supporting the Rockingham County Partnership for Children. They are a local nonprofit helping real kids in your community. They are doing the work, and they are making a difference. And a lot has changed during the making of this doc. Marilyn was hired by the partnership because she's a rock star. Federal funding for childcare was set to expire, renewed at the last minute, and now is set to expire again. And April lost her hair because we stressed her out. No, really? It was chemo? She soldiered through this entire filmmaking process while going through treatment. Much respect, round of applause, she's a survivor.
Just remember that the key takeaway here is that you can make a difference regardless if you have a professional title or not. Your professional title can be that you are the mom, the dad, the grandma, the grandpa, anything. But just know that you can make a difference.
This film, the team we have assembled, the Kids Ready Coalition, the village, we are making a difference.
We got a lot of work to do still, but when you look at these girls, it's easy to see it's all worth it. Easy. Who got your back, Mama?
Mommy and Dad, yes. Oh, yeah, now come and play.
One more and then
Oh my goodness, where did they
I thought this was gonna happen on maybe the third, fourth question, not the first one. But
Does she have like a nervous
a laugh attack? Mm-hmm. She's gonna cry soon too. Oh, it already started?
Once it's out, it's gonna be better.
This was very confusing. The first part of our marriage, I was like, are you sad or happy?
He's like oblivious.
Hey, my name's Chase.